Naota5k, it was League of Legends first. It was League of Legends playing with just your casual friends playing and ranking up a little bit, but it was just having that to talk. I will admit, playing League of Legends with a good transition period from 2011 to 2015. There were so many nights that it wasn't just the League of Legends play. It was also you get off of Skype and you stay talking with your friends, and next thing you know it's like 5-6 a.m. You gotta work at 8 a.m. and you would think that, okay, well, I mean, after that you're gonna get a nice sleep and you just go and do the same thing over and over again. Now the 5k, I got that name because I figured there's a character an anime called FLCL, Fully Cooley, and I think it's Naota. So I like that. I wanted that. And the 5k is, well, I like running 5ks. So I integrated that together and I got that. And I got Naota 5k. The reason now I say it as Naota instead of Naota is because over time people just say Naota. I have a feeling that when they just see the NA, they figure it's ah. So they have that type of vowel and they just go Naota. Okay, I mean, there was only one instance that they called me Nacho. I don't know where they got Nacho. And then they just figured the 5k was 5,000. So now to this day now, I just call it Naota because they're going to call me that anyway. I've already accepted that's the pronunciation they want. So I stuck by it. Naota5k. It's transitioned League of Legends. Then Pokemon Go came. And Pokemon Go in 2016 came kind of like this a different type of game. It was completely different in regard to me. Play Ingress later on, but getting out and looking at Bulbasaur, it had that certain feeling, that nostalgic feelings when you were playing Pokemon Red and Blue or your regular Pokemon games. You're starting off your adventure, you're choosing your starter, and then you're collecting Pokemon and going to the next city. It felt that after you got your starter, you just collect some Pokemon, you get some Stardust, and then, at least for me, there were some gyms nearby my home. Stockpile those gyms. That's how I took it first. So if it was, I chose Team Valor. So stockpile those gyms, get them red, and get them get them to, I think it was 10 ladders, I think, with the old system. It was so much fun. It was just a lot of fun going out to your local street and just seeing Pokemon. You walk around a little neighborhood, you would just say, I'm going to walk, and you see like a Pidgey, you see a Caterpie, and normally those Pokemon are like, why are you wasting your time with that? It's fun. It's just fun to do it. That's how I started with Pokemon Go, and I put Naota5k, and so that transition period, 2016, 2017, it was dying down for a little bit, and then they started introducing into Gen 2, or going into Gen 2 Pokemon, and raids. For sure, raids were a big benefactor of that. That's where everything, the story now of 5k where I currently at begins. I got a job in Pasadena, so that means that most of my time I was in Pasadena. There's a big community of Pokemon Go players over there, and raids that just come out going into 2018, and you need a certain amount of people to defeat a certain Pokemon, right? For example, if I say there's a Charizard, a level 4 Charizard, it takes quite a number of people to defeat a Charizard. So you run into people and they ask, oh, hey, are you playing? Oh, I'm playing. Oh, we're all playing. So you start meeting people, you start recognizing some people, and we would do the raid. Overall, afterwards, you start meeting the same number of people, or you start seeing more people and you start recognizing some of their faces. You want to have like a little meetup. Oh, hey, next time if I see something here, I'll let you know. Let's build a messenger. And so we did at first. One of the people in Pasadena built a messenger, and so we had this little messenger because Pasadena is a huge city. But after work, hey, you want to hit up this Blastoise or anything, we would do that. We ended up with just so many people that we transitioned from Messenger into an app called Slack. All right, and in 2018, we customized Slack to have channels. We can have the T1 to 4 battles will come in, and the same feeling I had with MoFo, that people would address me as that. They would see my Pokemon Go in tag as Naota, and Naota's coming. Oh, Naota's coming. You know, he has strong Pokemon. So if he comes in, you know, he feels like he can help us take this faster than, you know, some other person. And when we go and meet up, and after a while, of the same people that you're seeing, you start feeling a bit familiar. You start opening up a bit more. You start introducing yourself at a little bit more personal level. And we will hang out afterwards. There's plenty of restaurants around the Old Town district. You go and you talk. There's more people that you meet, and you introduce yourself. Oh yeah, we're playing here. We're playing on Slack, and it starts growing. And my at the time girlfriend, she felt, well, I love Pikachu. Pikachu's her favorite Pokemon, and she wants to be introduced into this game as well. Certainly she's played before, but not at a level. And most of my time was taken just to do raids. I wanted to just raid. It took that aspect of catching Pokemon. I just wanted to collect and do raids. So if I saw a raid anywhere, I want to drive up and do it. And when with her, I felt, well, first I felt that now I got a second person, so I'm never alone. We can do those. It developed into a hobby. It developed into what we would plan out on a weekend. We would say, hey, they're having like a gather around at 5 a.m., meet up at IHOP, and then at 6 a.m. the raids drop. Okay, then so we would drive 4:30 in the morning to Pasadena, meet at IHOP, get a little coffee, do these raids. We see so many people there, and that'd be huge. It'd be very huge. I would eventually take that into where I was living before at Pico Rivera, and bring that to the people. The people that were playing there, they had already started their little Pokemon Go, but I would bring what I was learning from Pasadena, and this is how I wanted. This is how I was going to bring my raids. I think later on in 2018 is where I transitioned now to taking a bit more of a leader role, an admin role per se, and started directing, helping people in Pico Rivera. Oh, we can do raids like this. We can do this many raids. You can take there in this pass. The downside to that is you spend a lot of money on this game. You spend a lot of money for remote raid passes. You spend a lot of money for Pokeballs. I don't think you can buy potions, but you can buy revives. Downside is that I probably spent at this current time well over $7,000, seven something, for everything that I've done. Everything done for my account, for the other accounts. Yeah, so around $7,000. Is it worth it? Well, I mean, not really, because you don't get that money back. But it's the hobby. It's the hobby. It's really, really good. So that's that period. Okay, so now 2019 Niantic or Pokemon Go introduces a feature called PvP, or player versus player. And this player versus player has where you can challenge another trainer to battle using the Pokemon that you have, using three different settings. You can perhaps use it as there's a Great League setting where Pokemon under 1500 and under CP fight with each other. Then you have an Ultra League, which is just the same format but just 2500 CP and lower. And then you have Master League, which is no restrictions, any Pokemon you have. And that introduction, it opened up a new community of players that now focus onto getting their Pokemon battle ready, having spending their resources on that, and doing tournaments to find out who can beat who. We'll open up this platform named Sylph, and we will have tournaments that our players would organize and say, okay, we're gonna have this cup, and we're gonna have a specific type of rule sets for the cup. And what will one think that, oh, let's see who people come. You would have a lot of people doing that. I loved it. I love the competition. We would meet people by people. You hear on our phones. You're playing and playing. And then when we were done, when we were done, when the tournament was over, I had a lot of fun. You know, you're doing your locals. What if I have another tournament and they post it on stuff? Let's post. There's one in Irvine. Why don't we drive to Irvine in an hour and then just go to that tournament? So we would go to that tournament. We meet the people in Irvine, and they're playing their competition. Um, a lot of fun. A lot of fun. It didn't even care anymore about if you won the tournament or not. The fact that you're in another city and you're doing these tournaments, and a lot of times we would end it and we would just do something around the city, make it something out of it. Okay,
Yeah.
we got to Irvine. Let's eat something here, or let's enjoy the park. They have this big park. I forgot the name of it, but it was amazing. And it's the aforementioned I talked about when I first started ITG with MoFo, is that you meet a community and it feels like another family. And I previously showed a tattoo that had a Pokeball. This Pokeball represents my current community here. People that have stayed and played with me over time has transitioned now into the friends and people that I associate myself right now. Where I help out, just as I need it as a friend. And I think with certain people that I have taken a more personal effect, where if something happens in their lives, I wish to help. It's great. It's a great scenery. But PvP will be something that I very likely like to, that I would say is that drew me into Pokemon Go.
Like, is there anything that you're like hoping that they improve upon, or like you'd like to see that change happen in that game?
Not much. I think a lot of things have been working very fluently. I understand that with this recent Kanto event that they had, that they were they were they were attempting to put trainers into Pokestops to have that feel like when you're on an adventure, and you spot a trainer ready to battle you. Um, so I attempted that. I'm sure they're gonna work their niches on it. Perhaps maybe work on not being outside of the Pokestop too much. And if there's a Pokemon that spawns and it happens to be on a character, you trigger the character and you can't trigger catching the Pokemon. Uh, no, overall on my end, I think the game is fine. I think the game is fine. I mean, if you gotta walk, I know they also introduced remote raid passing, so players can stay at home. They can get invites from anywhere else around the world, via their friends, and do raids safely at home. So I understand that feature. I think that feature is very great. Not everyone has the opportunity to go on these raids or go on um, catching perhaps a Mewtwo raid, because there's no gyms where they at, and where they're at, they're probably safer at home than being outside or making a drive and perhaps exposing themselves, or so this is a good way for them. I can see the complaint on the other side more often than not, that the people that complain about it are people that are fortunate that there's a gym every block that they see, or at the very least their access to something, and they perhaps just feel that they miss the driving aspect or the meeting up with people aspect. But on my end, all of that is a secondary matters that are more on just what you personally feel, as more as a primary factor, which is for me PvP, Stardust, doing raids. No, I think everything right now is fine. It gets a little pricey, but that's the territory for playing these things, and I accept it. Um, no, I don't think so. There's any changes on my end. Complaints are often just based on what you want. You want more. You want more. That's fine. It's a consumer. They have the right to just ask for more. That's okay. Um, and and there's sometimes where you're just unfortunate. You just don't have a lot of spawns, or you just can't go out. That's more of it's just unfortunate. People always like to find the best way for them, but that's fine. Like I mentioned, those are more secondary matters that are really out of your control. If you're stuck in bed in a hospital, or if something unfortunate occur, you weren't predicting that would occur, but it happened. And if it happens, I mean, you can only go with what you're being given. So that's one thing. So something that would be like a primary matter would be perhaps if the only place you can go is a matter where your life is in danger. Like if you go to a park and perhaps the park has a lot of gangs and you don't want to be associated with gangs, one would say, well, you can just go to another park, but you can't go to another park. But perhaps you're a younger kid that always needs to be with a parent. Um, a primary matter will be also perhaps a parent watching the kids play and they're seeing certain graphics that you don't want your kids to see, or you put your, but that will be on the parent to make that best decision for the child. Because I've always said the parent, well, you're the parent. A child is just a blank piece of paper. Whatever you put on that paper, that's what's going to be. It's up to the parent to make sure that the child's pretty ready for that. Um, no, there's no really issue for me, for not for Pokemon Go. At the very least, I feel that the game is very well balanced. Balanced, by balance I mean that you can find ways to make things work, right? If you choose to. If you don't choose to, I mean, I guess I get it too. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a video game for most people. Some other people take it as a big hobby or the content stream, so it makes it a job. um but you can only do so much for the game.
Thank you, gamers, for joining us for this conversation. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe so you can see more of this interview and others like it. Have a good one, you guys.